I love soup noodles, but I especially love my Japanese udon noodle soup. Now what I've got here is I've got some water boiling. It's salted already, so I'm going to wait for it to come to a boil. But what I'm going to show you is some just regular udon noodles. Now you can get these at your regular grocery store these days. They've got a variety of noodles, and you can use any noodles for this soup. You can use great udon noodles like I have. You can use soba noodles. You can use egg noodles, whatever you like. But I love the udon noodles because they tend to hold up a little bit better. I just like the texture when they're cooked in my mouth. I just like the way that they taste with this soup. So in the meantime, while I'm waiting for this to boil, I'm going to add in my stock. Now for this, you can use a chicken stock or a veggie stock. I'm using a veggie stock for this right now, but you can use any stock you want. I'm going to put this to the side, and I'm going to let this come up to a simmer, and I'm going to start adding in all kinds of vegetables. So here we go. Right as I speak, we have a boil. I'm going to put the udon noodles right in, put a couple packs in there, and this is how they come. They have a little bit of a strip. You just take that off. You don't want to cook. You definitely don't want to cook with this on, so take it off. That's like cooking with the turkey with the thing inside of it. Take it all out. You don't want to do that. All right. Now, just going to make sure, go ahead and work those noodles down into the water because they start cooking pretty fast. And these cook super fast. Doesn't take long. This is almost, kind of the fresh version of, Italian, kind of that Italian fettuccine that you find. This is not a super dried noodle. I mean, although it is dried, it cooks super fast. It's almost a fresh dried pasta. So you can already see they're bending. Look at that. I mean, literally minute and a half, and these will be ready to go. Minute and a half, 2 minutes, and those will be ready. Now, once my broth comes up to a simmer, a nice boil, and then a light simmer, I'm going to start adding in some good vegetables. Here I have some little julienne, little sticks of, whoops, got to boil over. That happens. So you just turn your heat down to medium, especially when things are starchy. So I have some starch and some, starchiness in these noodles. That's going to happen. It happens with pasta all the time. Who doesn't boil over their pasta? Everybody does that, including me, including Iron Chefs. So that happens because of the starch in the pasta or your noodles. So let that simmer. Now I've got some really good sticks of ginger here that are going to add so much flavor to this broth. So we call this a julienne when they're cut like this. A little julienne of ginger. Okay? Some nice slices of carrot I'm going to put in, little snow peas that I'm going to put in that have been sliced, mushrooms, scallions. This is going to be a great soup. And again, you can go with whatever you like. I mean, this is a great thing. You can add in broccoli. This is a soup, so go with whatever you like in there. You can add shrimp to this. You can go crazy, add a little, some proteins, whatever you like. They're already ready. I can tell. I can feel them. But really, you can tell when they start getting puffy. You can see that they've puffed up a little bit. They're not as flat, so they're getting really nice and thick, getting nice and puffy. You can actually take one if you want to and just kind of put it on your cutting board, put it down on your countertop, taste one, let it cool off a little bit, give it a little taste to it. Again, same thing with pasta, same rules apply. You want your noodles to be al dente. You don't want them to be soggy. Same thing, these are ready. So what I'm going to do is I have in my sink, again, just like pasta, I have a strainer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain out my noodles, let those sit in there, turn my fire off here. Okay, let those strain for a minute and sit. And my stock is still not simmering. I'm going to do this. Here. Miso paste, really salty. Miso paste is something that is used in all Asian, definitely in Japanese cooking. You always, miso soup is something that everybody knows about. Miso soup is used. A little bit goes a long way. So what I'm going to do with my noodle soup is really, I could mix everything into the broth as a whole, but then it might be too salty for one person, perfect for another person. So what I usually do is I'm just going to put a little dollop of the miso in the bottom of my bowl, my serving bowl, like that. And then if you want more, I like to serve the miso on the table, so if you want a little bit more, you can add a little bit more. Kind of spoon it around, let it melt into your soup if you want a little more saltiness, but a little bit goes a long way with miso. You don't need a whole lot of it. And then I'm going to add a little bit of soy sauce, just a touch to it, just for flavor. It gives a little bit of flavor to to the soup. So just a little bit in the bottom as well. And that's it. That's all the flavoring you really need. You want to make sure too when you have your noodles with strained, don't just let them sit, because you've got to mix them around a little bit or they're going to get really gummy and they're going to just sit and get stuck together. So you want to move them around a bit. You can even add a little bit of oil to them. Like it doesn't matter, even if this is an Asian dish, I even add a little bit of olive oil to, just like I would for pasta. I'll add a little olive oil to these. Or you can even add a little bit of, little sesame oil if you want, but just don't get too crazy with the sesame oil, again, because a little bit goes a long way. Or a little mixture of both, a little sesame and olive oil. Just give it that flavor. Just so they don't get gummy and sticky. Same thing. So then you have this really nice separation of your pasta and your little udon noodles. So it separates a little bit. Okay, so now that I've got a simmer on my broth, I'm going to add in my sticks of ginger, my little julienne of ginger here for flavor. And they'll just start being really aromatic in my broth. So now I'll start creating this nice ginger broth in there. And then my carrots. And again, this is a really great soup. So you don't want everything cooked so much. If I was going to add broccoli in here, I just want a little bit of blanching on this. You're almost blanching everything with your broth. So you still want some crunch to all of your vegetables. If this is something like a stew or some other type of, dish that I was making, they would be different. If it was a stir fry, of course, I'd want it cooked a little bit more. But for a soup, you really want some crunch. You really want to taste that. Some mushrooms. We're going to cook some mushrooms in there as well. And again, this is a base. So I'm showing you a base that you can really just go crazy with and add anything you have on hand at home. Any extra, if you have bok choy, if you have snap peas, if you have all these different extras that you want to throw in here, go for it. So add a little bit of scallion, and I'm going to save some scallion for the top. Now what I'm going to do is I've got my little bit of miso in here. As you can see, I've got my miso, my soy sauce that I put in. Now I'm going to take a little bit of the noodle. I'm going to add my noodle, a little pile of noodle in there. Make it really delicious. And I always just go ahead and put it right in the bottom. A pile of noodle. Oh, so good. So you want to simmer these vegetables, just really lightly, just to give it a little, keep the crunch to the vegetables, but just enough to get all these flavors melded in together. Once that's done, literally 2-3 minutes, then you want to start ladling the soup right onto the noodles. Oh, so beautiful. Literally, just spoon that right on, and the colors are just absolutely beautiful. Look at that. I'll get lots of broth in there, because remember, this is a soup. You got that miso in the bottom and that soy sauce that you're going to mix in there as you start. It's absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. There we go. Beautiful. Put some fresh scallion on there. Wow. And there you have it. My Japanese udon noodle soup.